to the CE Pro podcast. I'm executive editor Arlen Schweiger. Long gone are the days in which integrators only installed niche brands of equipment that their clients had never heard of. Today, dealers also install an array of consumer-grade products that integrate closely with channel-specific equipment. Case in point, in this week's podcast, CE Pro editor Jason Knott spoke separately with two consumer brands making inroads with custom integrators. First, Allterco Robotics discusses how its Shelly brand of sensors, switches, smart plugs, and indoor air quality filters are well suited for the channel. Next, mega brand Google outlines the expansion of its Works with Google Assistant program for integrators, along with its affiliation with the new PureTech Alliance that aims to make wellness a staple category in the custom electronics market.
Hi, Jason Knott with CE Pro, and I'm excited to be joined today by Tom Lenahan, who's a well-known figure in the industry for many, many years, and is now joined on as the National Sales Director at Allterco Robotics US for the Shelly line. Hi, Tom.
How are you, Jason?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me. So tell us a little bit about Allterco Robotics and Shelly for people who may not know about the company.
Okay, we're based out of Bulgaria. We're an engineering and manufacturing firm of Wi-Fi relays, plug-in modules, switches, energy meter readers, and that type of product that fit well into the smart home product line.
And they've been around for a long time in Europe, right? So this is not some newbie, right?
No, they've been introduced to Europe about 5 years ago and just came into the US this past year.
All right, so before we get into talking a little bit about the product line, let's just kind of give a sense as to why they come into the U.S. market. Where do you see the state of the home smart home market right now in 2021?
Well, it's being driven by all the big guys, all the big security companies, the Amazons, and all the big apps out there from Tuya. And it's becoming more diverse than it was just a few years ago. It's easier to install, more people can get involved in it. And the Wi-Fi takes out the fact that you don't need a hub in your home, which was probably a big.
Yeah, you kind of just hit my next question. Tell us a little bit about why the Shelly solution is so good for the smart home market.
Because it works with Wi-Fi and it works with just about any product out there. And it's easy to install. It's easy for the consumer to understand. The consumer actually doesn't really care how something talks to each other as long as they do talk to each other. And that's where Wi-Fi and the Shelly Wi-Fi product comes in well.
Give us a sense of the breadth of the line. I know they've got multiple different sensors, controls. Give us a sense of the breadth of the line.
Well, we have a line of relays that can be used in any type of installation. We have plug-in modules, we have bulbs, Wi-Fi bulbs, and we have energy meter readers. So you can judge the energy consumption in your home or building. So it's pretty diverse, and it's out there to help any integrator. If he runs into a situation where he needs something that's not typically in a line of most smart home products, they can use the Shelly product to fix their situation.
Yeah, so give me a sense of where you see this fitting into the portfolio for integrators who are out there probably trying to sell high-end systems for many, many years. And as you said, now the market's being driven by these big consumer players, Google, Apple, Amazon, et cetera. Where do you see a good, better, best offering type of portfolio for integrators with Shelly involved in there?
Well, Shelly will solve some problems that they run across in installations about how to control certain things in the home or building. Because it's a relay, it's wired into the switch, so it's not, the form factor makes it easy to install. And so integrators will find it that we can use a Shelly product for certain installations that they might have problems with doing an overall home. And we have a lot of APIs out there being written for various companies like Control4. There's a couple out there for Crestron. So it's easy for any integrator to use it.
That was what I mean. My question is about the drivers that are out there. And so they can use this on a higher end smart home installation if they're, because of that Wi-Fi element, it's able them to solve a problem versus maybe differing to Z-Wave or Zigbee or something like that.
Exactly. It's easier to adapt to their programs, and because of the form factor, it's easy to install behind a switch or inside a motor or something like that. So it solves a lot of those problems for them.
So how do integrators get access to the Shelly line? Do they have to be certified or authorized in some way? How do they become dealers of the product line?
Well, we typically sell through distributors like Ameridroid, Blackwire Designs, Worthington. So they can get it through the typical distribution. We're expanding distribution every day. And we will sell direct to dealers too as well.
Yeah. So is that going to be your role, reaching out directly to the major dealers as well as the distributors across the country?
Yes, both dealers and distributors, but mostly distributors. And getting more companies to write APIs so they can include our products into their drivers.
All right, here's the $64,000 question. Where do you see the market, and specifically, where do you see Shelly's market presence, a year from now, 5 years from now?
Well, I see us being involved in just about every installation because of the products we have. Everybody can use our products. So we believe we're going to get much bigger in the next 12 months as people find out what our products do, how easy they are to install. And again, the form factor makes it so much easier for them to install it into a typical home.
And in terms of support, obviously tech support is a big issue with integrators. You mentioned the company's based in Bulgaria. What's the tech support situation?
Well, we'll do the tech support here out of the US. We have a CTO based out of Florida, and we're adding people every day to do that. Also, we're training our distributors on the product line as well. So like a Worthington distributor will be very well versed in our products. Same with Blackwire Designs. So we'll train the distributors so they can handle first line support, and we'll get involved as needed.
So you might even down the road see some education days or events at various distributors when they're doing their education events.
Absolutely. And we'll be putting together our own podcasts and training videos for dealers and integrators to use.
Great. Is there anything else that you want integrators to really know about Shelly and the product line, Tom?
Yeah, that if they have a situation where they need a product that they think we might be able to do, we'd like to hear about it. If there's any kind of special projects out there, we're willing to design and build to what they need. Our goal is to serve the integrator for all their needs. So whatever products that we don't have that they think we could do for them, we will do it.
What's on tap from Shelly in terms of product development, Tom?
Well, we're going to be introducing a Shelly Air, which is an air purifier using UVC strips, a wall-mounted version that we'll be selling through distribution as well. It can take a classroom and it uses UV strips to clean the air for the obvious reasons that we're all looking for products like that. And it's also going to be highlighted for various distribution channels in restaurant supply, schools. Schools are our biggest focus on that product right now.
So explain that a little bit to me. Is it actually a monitoring it as well as cleaning it, or is it just a cleaner?
It's both. It's cleaning the air. It will look like a ductless air conditioner on your wall. Easy to install, and it's got UVC strips in it. It basically has 97% success in cleaning out, viruses and pathogens like that.
And so the end user gets the information via an app interface somehow, or how does he know?
They can control it through our Shelly app.
Okay, and then is that product going to have an open API so it can integrate with Control4 or other devices too?
Yeah,
right?
That would be the plan. Yes.
And what's the time frame on when that's going to be available?
We'll probably be introducing that in June.
Fantastic. Tom Lenahan, National Sales Director at Allterco Robotics US, and Shelly, thanks for joining CE Pro today.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.
Thanks for those who are tuning into this week's podcast. Now let's shift for the rest of this week's episode as Jason Knott talks with Google about its Works with Google Assistant program.
Hi, Jason Knott, and welcome to the CE Pro podcast. And with me today, we are talking about the wellness place and the wellness space, I should say, and also Google's place in this market. So with me today are Adeel Tufail, National Pro Partner Manager, Industry Partnerships at Google. Hi, Adeel.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being here. And also Peter Dyroff, who's very familiar to everybody in the industry, Principal President at Strateris, and also the Pure Tech Alliance. Hi, Peter.
How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great. All right, Adeel, let's jump right into it. Google's obviously a leader in the wellness space in this market. And so everybody in the industry looks to Google and where you're heading. So let's talk about what is the current status of the Works with Hey Google program in terms of its integration with third-party controls?
Yeah, so Works with Google Assistant is available to all manufacturers and partners who would like to integrate with Google Assistant. They can go to developers.google.com/assistant and they can start the integration aspect today. So again, we're an open platform and any manufacturer partner can start integrating if they like to, starting immediately.
So recently there was an announcement from one of the manufacturers that they were quote unquote reapproved by Google Nest for integrating with their third-party control. What is the current status of that? Are you reapproved? Was that the proper terminology? Is there a reapproval, or are you just re-examining or looking at particular manufacturers to integrate with?
No, Works with Google Assistant's always been an open platform for manufacturers. And when we migrated from Works with Nest to Works with Google Assistant, manufacturers had to start the integration process on Works with Google Assistant. So as we sunsetted that, we opened a new platform, and that's where people, I don't know if reapproved is the right verbiage, we just transitioned over to Works with Google Assistant.
Great. Can you describe the evaluation process that Google goes through before opening up that Nest API to a control company?
So we have the evaluation process. The guidelines are actually available on developers.google.com/nest/device access/project review. I know that's a mouthful, but our entire guidelines are there. And like I said, it's open to every manufacturer and partner who wishes to integrate with Google and Google Home and Google Assistant.
How many third-party smart home control systems right now is Google Nest integrating with?
So Google Assistant integrations are currently available with Control4, Crestron, and Savant. And more partners are obviously integrating there as well. And we're hoping that we'll continue to see other home automation partners integrate into the platform.
So if you look at this, the Works with Google, Hey Google, or Google Assistant program from a bigger perspective, does this signal that Google recognizes there's so many disparate control systems in this space, and integrators, the custom industry in and of its nature is they're picking individual products. They're not really picking a singular brand from top to bottom. Is that the right conclusion, that you see this ecosystem, Google helping to tie together the disparate nature of all these different systems together?
So we are an open platform. So we want every manufacturer to work with us, and we're continuously adding manufacturers, devices, partners to the Assistant platform. So this is something that Google in general always takes the approach of being an open platform to any type of business that we enter into. So we want to continue that. And that's why the Works with Google Assistant platform is there to let any manufacturer join up and then create a seamless smart home solution for the end user.
Great. So Peter, let me turn to you in terms of the PureTech Alliance. Some integrators that I've spoken with recently are very bullish on the wellness movement and the integration movement, which obviously Google's in the forefront of. They're seeing it as already in demand at the luxury level before it's filtering down. What are you hearing from integrators?
Yeah, it's the reason we formed the alliance 15 months ago in the first place, was that we have seen the luxury home buyer more and more wanting high quality air and water, and then the control of that so that they have the best environment for them to live in. It's like eating organic food. People more and more want to do what they can to be healthy, and the medical information that is out nowadays on indoor air quality, water quality, even in the best of towns and municipalities, is just not what it needs to be to provide a healthy lifestyle.
So do you see this either right now or eventually filtering down from that high-end luxury space to more of the mid-market?
Oh, sure. Especially when you have a company, like Google, who is who's part of this market. They're gonna help bring this to the multiple of consumers. But it is already in many different ways. Home builders. There are quite a number of home builders around the country that are using a pure certification standard for their homes, and they sell their homes and differentiate themselves this way by offering that over a non purified home. And again, they're doing really well with that model.
Adeel, let me turn back to you. What is your perception from Google's standpoint of this custom electronics industry with all these low voltage integrators working with customers to integrate systems? Do you see them playing a key role moving forward in the space?
Yeah, so we are partnering with the customer integrator channel by partnering with companies like Cedia, the ASEAN Buying Group. Obviously, we've hired PureTech Alliance as our national rep firm. And us being an open platform where the works with Google Assistant aspect, we do see the CI or custom integrator channel probably one of the better solutions, because they get to hold the customers or the end user's hand from start to finish and really give them the ability to fully experience what the smart home can do for them.
Fantastic. Peter Dyroff, Adeel Tufail, thanks for joining CE Pro today.